How many of you right now feel like you're capable of more, but something keeps holding you back? How many of you have ever felt stuck, not because you lack potential, but because something inside of you just isn't clicking? Listen to me, success is not about talent, it's not about luck, it's not about circumstances, it's about what's happening in your mind. It's about mental strength. The strongest people in the world, the ones who dominate in business, in sports, in life, aren't necessarily the smartest or the most skilled. They are the ones who have mastered their mind. They control their emotions instead of letting their emotions control them. They show up every day with relentless consistency, no matter what. They take full ownership of their lives, no excuses, no blame, just pure responsibility. And today, I'm going to give you 5 habits, 5 mindset shifts that separate the mentally strong from everybody else. Because if you don't master these, you will always be at the mercy of your emotions, your fears, and your excuses. But if you do, you will become unstoppable. Let's dive in. Control your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. This is one of the most powerful principles that separates mentally strong individuals from those who struggle with uncertainty, negativity, and self-doubt. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus on expands. If you constantly focus on problems, they become bigger and more overwhelming. But if you train yourself to focus on solutions, opportunities, and what you can control, you shift your entire state of mind, and suddenly life starts working for you instead of against you. Mentally strong people have mastered the ability to direct their focus intentionally. They don't allow distractions, setbacks, or external circumstances to dictate their mindset. They take command of their thoughts. They make a conscious choice every single day to focus on progress, growth, and possibilities. This isn't something that happens automatically. It's a skill, a habit that must be trained and conditioned. Just like a muscle, think about the most successful people in the world. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. Do you think they waste their time focusing on what's wrong? No, they train themselves to find solutions. They condition their minds to see possibilities where others see obstacles. They focus on what they can do, not what they can't. And this mindset gives them an unstoppable edge in everything they do. Imagine a person who constantly focuses on why they can't succeed. They tell themselves they're not smart enough, not talented enough, or that life is unfair. Their mind reinforces those beliefs, and their actions reflect that negativity. On the other hand, someone who chooses to focus on solutions will see opportunities where others see dead ends. They'll ask better questions. What can I learn from this? How can I turn this around? What's the next step I can take? The answers they come up with propel them forward instead of holding them back. One of the most effective ways to take control of your focus is by asking powerful questions. Your brain is like a search engine. It will find whatever you tell it to look for. If you constantly ask, why does this always happen to me? Your mind will give you a list of reasons why life is unfair. But if you ask, how can I turn this into an opportunity? Your brain will start searching for ways to make it happen. Questions determine your focus, and your focus determines your reality. Visualization is another tool they use. They don't just hope things will get better, they see it in their mind's eye. They create a clear picture of their goals and mentally rehearse their success before it even happens. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's training the brain to focus on winning. When the mind believes something is possible, it finds a way to make it a reality. At the end of the day, focus is a decision. You can either let the world control your attention, or you can take charge and direct it toward what empowers you. When you master your focus, you master your emotions. When you master your emotions, you master your actions. And when you master your actions, you master your life. Embrace discomfort. Growth only happens in discomfort. Mentally strong people understand this at their core. They don't shy away from challenges, they seek them out. They don't avoid struggle, they lean into it. They have trained themselves to get comfortable being uncomfortable because they know that discomfort is the gateway to transformation. Think about the people who never change, who stay stuck in the same patterns year after year. Why? Because they fear discomfort. They fear failure, rejection, and uncertainty. They would rather stay in a situation that isn't working than step into the unknown and take a chance on something better. But the truth is, the discomfort of staying the same is far worse than the discomfort of growth. Look at elite athletes. They push their bodies beyond their limits every single day. They don't stop when it gets hard. They push harder. Why? Because they understand that every rep, every sprint, every ounce of pain is making them stronger. They've conditioned themselves to embrace discomfort because they know that's where the real growth happens. One of the biggest forms of discomfort people struggle with is failure. Most people avoid taking risks because they're afraid to fail, but mentally strong individuals see failure differently. They don't see it as the end, they see it as feedback. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. The people who achieve the greatest success are the ones who have failed the most because they were willing to take action despite the discomfort. Look at the greatest entrepreneurs, leaders, and innovators in history. Every single one of them faced massive failures before achieving success. They embraced the discomfort of rejection, criticism, and uncertainty because they knew that pushing through those challenges was the only way to grow. Think about the first time you did something difficult. Maybe it was public speaking, starting a business, or pushing your body through an intense workout. At first, it felt uncomfortable, but over time, what happened? It became easier. You got stronger. Why? Because you exposed yourself to discomfort enough times that it became your new normal. That's the secret. The more you embrace discomfort, the more resilient you become. Your threshold for challenge expands, and things that once seemed impossible become second nature. If you want to be mentally strong, you must train yourself to do the things that scare you, the things that stretch you, and the things that force you to grow. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the price of progress. It is the path to mastery. It is the key to unlocking your true potential. The only way to reach the next level in any area of life is to step into the discomfort that comes with it. Master your emotions. Your emotions do not control you, you control them. This is the mindset of mentally strong individuals. They don't let fear, doubt, frustration, or anger dictate their actions. They don't allow temporary feelings to determine their long-term results. They have learned to master their emotions instead of being mastered by them. This is what separates those who thrive under pressure from those who crumble. Most people go through life reacting. Something happens and they immediately respond based on how they feel in that moment. If someone says something negative, they get defensive. If they experience a setback, they get discouraged. If things don't go as planned, they spiral into frustration. Their emotions dictate their actions, and because of that, they live in a constant state of uncertainty, always at the mercy of whatever is happening around them. Mentally strong people operate differently. They understand that emotions are powerful, but they also understand that emotions can be directed. They don't suppress how they feel, but they also don't let emotions take over. Instead, they train themselves to use emotions as fuel. Fear becomes motivation, frustration becomes drive, pain becomes power. Every emotion has energy, and when you learn to redirect that energy in a way that serves you, you become unstoppable. Think about an athlete who is about to compete. If they allowed fear and nerves to control them, they would never perform at their best. Instead, they take control of their mental state. They channel that nervous energy into focus. They reframe their fear as excitement. They have conditioned their mind to work for them rather than against them. This isn't something that happens by accident. It happens by training. One of the most effective ways to master your emotions is by shifting your perspective. Most people experience emotions based on the meaning they give to situations. If they lose a job, they see it as a disaster and they feel defeated. If a relationship ends, they see it as a failure and they feel broken. But mentally strong individuals ask better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, how is this happening for me? They shift their mindset from victim to warrior. The way you speak to yourself determines how you feel. If you constantly tell yourself this is too hard, you will feel overwhelmed. If you say, I can't handle this, you will feel powerless. But if you tell yourself, this is making me stronger, or I will figure this out, you shift your emotions instantly. Self-talk is not just a motivational tool, it is the foundation of emotional mastery. Another powerful strategy is controlling your physiology. Your body and mind are connected, and how you move affects how you feel. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with power, your emotions follow. This is why mentally strong people use movement to shift their state. They don't slump over when they feel down, they change their posture. They don't sit in sadness, they take action. They use their body to influence their emotions instead of letting emotions dictate how they carry themselves. People who struggle with emotional control often get stuck in negative loops. Something goes wrong, they feel bad, and instead of breaking the pattern, they reinforce it by dwelling on the problem. Mentally strong individuals recognize these patterns and interrupt them. They change their focus, they move their body, they shift their perspective. They don't allow themselves to spiral into negativity because they know that every moment spent in a negative state is a moment wasted. Be relentlessly consistent. Motivation is temporary, discipline is permanent. Mentally strong people do not rely on fleeting bursts of inspiration to take action. They don't wait for the perfect mood, the perfect conditions, or the perfect timing. They have built a mindset of relentless consistency, showing up every single day, regardless of how they feel. The problem most people have is that they only take action when they feel like it. When they're excited, they work hard. When they're tired, they make excuses. When things are going well, they stay consistent. When obstacles appear, they lose momentum. This cycle keeps them stuck because they are letting their emotions determine their progress. Mentally strong individuals refuse to let that happen. They understand that true success is built through repetition, through discipline, through unwavering commitment. Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the highest performers in any field. They didn't get there by working hard once in a while. They got there by doing the work every single day, whether they felt like it or not. They built routines and habits that keep them moving forward. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Imagine someone who wants to get in shape. They start working out for a few days, but then they miss a session, then another. Suddenly, they've lost momentum and it feels impossible to start again. Now compare that to someone who commits to showing up every day, no matter what. Even if they don't feel like it, even if they only do a little, they keep moving. Over time, this consistency compounds and the results become undeniable. Mentally strong people understand that discipline is like a muscle. It must be trained. The more you practice consistency, the easier it becomes. What starts as effort turns into habit. What was once difficult becomes automatic. This is why the strongest people in the world have daily rituals that they never break. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't give in to excuses. They have made success non-negotiable. Most people think they need motivation to start, but in reality, motivation comes after action, not before. When you take action, even when you don't feel like it, you build momentum. That momentum creates motivation, and the cycle continues. This is why mentally strong people never wait for inspiration. They take action first, and the motivation follows. The real test of mental strength is not how hard you work when you're excited, it's how committed you stay when things get tough. Anyone can be consistent when everything is going well. But what happens when you're tired, when you're stressed, when life throws obstacles in your path? That's when most people quit. But mentally strong individuals push through. They have conditioned themselves to keep moving forward no matter. The strongest people in the world are not the most talented, the most gifted, or the most fortunate. They are the most consistent. They are the ones who show up day after day, year after year, regardless of circumstances. They have built a mindset of relentless discipline, and because of that, they achieve what others only dream of. Take full responsibility. Mentally strong people don't blame others, make excuses, or wait for someone else to fix their problems. They take full ownership of their lives, every decision, every action, every result. No excuses, no victim mentality, no shifting blame. The moment they take full responsibility is the moment they take full control. Most people go through life pointing fingers. When something goes wrong, they blame their upbringing, the economy, their boss, or their past. But mentally strong people understand that responsibility equals power. The more they own their circumstances, the more they can change them. Taking responsibility doesn't mean controlling everything, it means controlling how you respond. Instead of saying, this isn't fair, they ask, how can I turn this around? They eliminate excuses. They don't say, I don't have time. They say, I haven't made it a priority. They don't say, I can't afford it. They say, how can I create the money? They refuse to be victims. No matter what has happened, they focus on what they can do next. They don't wait for motivation. They don't depend on luck. They don't settle for mediocrity. They hold themselves accountable, follow through, and take full responsibility for shaping their future. Mentally strong people understand that taking responsibility is the key to power. They know that if they blame others, they give away control. If they make excuses, they stay stuck. Instead of focusing on what's unfair, they focus on what they can do to change their situation. They take ownership of their time, decisions, and emotions. When something doesn't go their way, they don't waste time complaining. They ask, what can I learn from this? They recognize that every setback is a chance to grow. Instead of saying, I can't, they ask, how can I? Instead of waiting for someone to rescue them, they create solutions. Taking full responsibility means following through. Most people say they'll do something, but when it gets hard, they quit. Mentally strong people don't. They commit. They keep promises to themselves. They know that success isn't about luck, it's about discipline, action, and ownership. They control their thoughts, emotions, and reactions, shaping their future on their terms. This is it. This is where the separation happens.